DJ Uiagalelei there, a lot of confidence from his head coach. Odds to win the college football championship. Well, Clemson now in the mix, 14-1 odds, but behind Alabama, Ohio State, and the defending champs, the Georgia Bulldogs. Speaking of the Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart ready to run it back. Head coach of Georgia making his appearance today at SEC Media Days. Well, Georgia beating Alabama in the national championship after losing to them in the SEC championship. But Georgia is not the favorite to win this season, as you saw there. That would be the Crimson Tide. Here's more from Kirby Smart.
My expectation for our defense is to be fast and physical. Look, we don't shy away from the fact that we've had success on defense, and I can't tell you how many times I've gone to recruit a kid and they said, well, they told us y'all weren't going to be any good on defense this year. You're losing everybody. They said that 2 years ago. They said that last year. They're saying that this year. Look, if you go recruit really good football players and they're fast and physical, you'll play good defense. I mean, you'll play good defense. And good defense sometimes is a loose term in college football right now, because giving up 20 sometimes is a good defense. And we don't like to change our standards, and we know we're going to have a good defense year in and year out. It's just going to be different. We're going to have different strengths and different weaknesses, but Nolan will certainly be a big part of that.
So how much did Georgia lose specifically on defense and just overall when it comes to the draft? Most draft picks by a school. You can see Georgia in 2022 all-time in 7 rounds of the draft. Last year losing 15 players. So let's talk about the challenges that Georgia and other schools that we're hearing from today are facing. Let's welcome in our guys there at SEC Media Days, Dodd and Barrett Sallee. Barrett, we'll start with you. Every day when we're hearing from these teams, we're asking some of the biggest questions they're facing the upcoming season. What about the Georgia Bulldogs?
Well, Kirby Smart said it. It's about the defense. But I think when you look at just how well he's recruited, he can withstand some of those losses. Now, 5 first-round draft picks on the defensive side of the ball, a big test, one that really no coach has ever faced. But when you look at some of the guys they have back, Jalen Carter up front, probably better than Jordan Davis. Nolan Smith, who we talked to today, is a flat-out stud. And I asked Kirby Smart about his secondary, and he said a guy like Keely Ringo, who's best known for the pick six that ended the national championship game last year, that really gave him the confidence to become a leader, a quiet leader. You put that in with Christopher Smith, who's been around for a long time in the back end, and you've got the right mix. And Kirby said it. If you're fast and physical, if you get a bunch of those guys, they're still going to play good defense, and Georgia is loaded in that department.
Yeah, let's just cut to the chase. Can Georgia repeat? Nobody's talking about that here. No one is considering it here. But because of what you said and because what they've got back offensively, I definitely think they can. Stetson Bennett began last spring taking no snaps, took no snaps in the spring. Now he's the guy. I'm not saying he's a game changer, but he's got a ring. That's that's one thing a lot of guys don't have. And I think they can do it. I mean, if they start the season in the top 4, which they will in every meaningful poll that matters, in any situation that gets them to December 2nd or whatever Selection Sunday is this year, with less than 2 losses, they're in the playoff and they're playing for a national championship again. The defense isn't as dominant. It's, top, the best in the last 10 years, 20 years. Let's just say they're in the top 5 nationally this year, which I think is a reasonable expectations. They're going to hold their own and they're going to be in the hunt.
Yeah.
Let's stay on the SEC East. Let's talk about Kentucky here and Mark Stoops. We're hearing from him today. Kentucky has the second best odds to win that division behind Georgia. Now Georgia is minus 500 and Kentucky is plus 900 there. Another 10-win season for them. They're second in the past 4 years. When it comes to Kentucky, Barrett, what's your biggest question for them?
Yeah, for me, I think it's all about continuing the progress and specifically how Will Levis progresses as the starting quarterback of the Kentucky Wildcats. I mean, we've seen this guy get first-round hype. And look, Will Levis was phenomenal last year. I don't think there's any doubt that he can be a superstar. But you're talking about a guy who has never had this kind of burden on him. So I think for Kentucky, you know you can run the football with Chris Rodriguez. And Mark Stoops and I talked a little bit about the identity of that program. It's on the line of scrimmage. And they've got got that on both sides of the ball. But they've got to stretch the field with Will Levis, and I think when you look at their wide receivers, maybe they have a little bit of an issue there, but I think when all is said and done, you got to find balance. And I think if they can do that, then yeah, maybe another 10-win season is possible.
If Kentucky is the third best team in the SEC, which seems to be a popular question this week here, then definitely I think that speaks to a 10-win team. And if you're a 10-win team in that situation in the SEC right now, you're going to a New Year's Six bowl. That'd be another level for Mark Stoops, who, it's a credit to, their athletic administration to hang on to him that long. He's turned the corner. He's developed, stability there. And now one of the longest tenured coaches in the country, believe it or not, at Kentucky. So, yeah, definitely. I think Kentucky's the third best team in the league right now.
All right, Dennis, you were able to sit down with Anthony Richardson, quarterback for Florida, earlier today. A lot of hype surrounding him during this new Billy Napier era. Let's listen to some of that interview.
I'm looking forward to becoming a better leader, just rallying up everybody and just letting everybody trust me in the same way I can trust in them. I feel like that's the biggest thing, trust and respect. I respect my teammates, I trust them, and hopefully they feel the same way about me.
All right, Dennis, that was your interview, so let's start with you here and the hype surrounding Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he's got to be the guy. He's got flaws to his game, but I think the biggest question for Florida this year is, can they run the ball? It's pretty easy for me. Forget 6 and 7, forget the new coach, forget whatever recruiting scrutiny there is right now. If Florida doesn't run the ball, and they haven't in a while, we can look back and look at some more 6 and 6, 6 and 7 seasons. They've got to get better right away. Anthony Richardson helps that. He's got feet. He can run. As a leader, we'll see. But I think it all comes down to that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. Florida at the quarterback position prior to this season, it's always been hit or miss, under Dan Mullen. Even though Dan Mullen was great, he only had one good year at quarterback, and that was Kyle Trask a couple of years ago. I think if you're Anthony Richardson was, the new kid at school last year. Emory Jones was a little shaky, and everyone's like, whoa, look, number 15, he can play. And he didn't really get to see the field under Dan Mullen, but the hype is there. We've heard Tim Tebow talk about him a lot this week as well. I think if Anthony can find a way to do 5 or 6 things deep downfield consistently, doesn't have to do it all the time, but if he can just keep opposing secondaries honest, we've seen his legs. So there's a depth issue at Florida. Billy Napier even knows that. But if Anthony Richardson can find a way to stretch the field, then that can disguise a lot of the problems.
All right, let's go to the Razorbacks here. And look, they had a very successful season last season. Not entirely sure if they can repeat it. Looking at their schedule, it's not easy. I believe it's like the 12th hardest schedule in the country. They begin with Cincinnati. They face Alabama. Dennis, one of your biggest questions for the Razorbacks, can they manage success?
Well, yeah, you're showing that schedule right now, and I think we're seeing the question, can they manage success? Can they deal with success? Because it's turned up a notch this year. They're not going to sneak up on anybody. They're not going to blow out at Texas, although Texas had its problems last year. Look at those first 4 games. Cincinnati, South Carolina, Missouri State with Bobby Petrino coming back, Texas A&M, and Alabama, and then at Mississippi State. So they know about K.J. Jefferson. The opposition knows about K.J. Jefferson. They know about Catalan in the secondary. Sam Pittman is the greatest, maybe, CEO coach of all time. He could go to a Miranda Lambert concert and fill your notebook for 30 minutes, or he could beat Texas by 30. That's how good he is. But I think it's taking the next step in managing success.
Yeah, and that schedule, Cincinnati out of the gate, obviously we know what they did last year, but to open the season 7 straight games, the 7th of which is at BYU, which is almost impossible to play at if you're not used to playing at elevation. So the schedule makers always hate Arkansas. They always get the short end of the stick, perhaps more so than ever this year. But I think for talking to the Kentucky people, Arkansas people, they've all taken the persona of Sam Pittman. Old school, work ethic, work hard, get in the trenches, get deep down in the weeds. And I think that really suits them. That makes him the successful coach that he is. And talking to some of the players, K.J. Jefferson specifically, they feel like this offense is going to be deadly. K.J. Jefferson told us that he patterns himself after Cam Newton. And then you look around, you see some newcomers, Jaden Hazelwood outside to take the place of Treylon Burks. They're loaded offensively. They play tough. They play physical. That's why Arkansas is successful, but they still got to navigate that schedule, which is not going to be easy.
Not at all. Barrett and Dennis, thank you so much. Incredible coverage out there this week. It has been so much fun to talk to you guys and hear all of those interviews. You can hear more from them on the Cover 3 podcast. Everything you need to know about the world of college football, week 0 kicking off in just 38 days from now. Latest episode, win totals, taking a look at the Big 12.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.